right, so we are actually live at this moment. And just allow me one quick second to get set up on my platforms here.
Okay.
So I am streaming live today on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as
Ooh,
we talk about, let's talk about sex, baby.
yes.
Let's talk about you and me. I'm back.
Hey.
All right. Okay, so it's probably not going to work on Instagram, but I'm not going to waste too much more time with that. But I do want to go ahead and thank everybody for joining us for another episode of Journey with Love podcast, where we discuss relationships, love. This is a journey to enlightenment. The goal is to help us heal as individuals so that we can add to the collective. And so on this platform, we do discuss the hard topics. We ask the tough questions, and it looks like I might be Facebook wasn't live yet. Sorry about that. Okay, so again, thank you for joining us with another episode of Journey with Love. I am here with our special guest, Jennifer Willis, aka Jade Stone, and we have a hot topic today as we talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. So I think that this is a taboo topic, and but yet it's an important conversation that should be had because it's a thing that people do and enjoy. So, but before we get started, Jennifer, if you could tell the people a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, and where they can find you.
Ooh, okay. Um, so the business name is Jade Stone. Um, and so basically, Love Sessions is the coaching. Love Sessions is the party side, the educational side of the business. I've been in the business for ooh, over 10 years now. It has been off and on because, like you said, sex is still, even in this time, a taboo subject. And so there was a lot that I struggled with, in terms of my family and my kids and stuff like that. So I was kind of off and on, and finally decided, you know what, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. And I want to go into the educational side of it. Um, so yeah, I finally made that commitment to the business and just helping people find their pleasure, their sensuality, their goddess energy. That's what I love to do. You can find me on Facebook. I actually do have another page on Facebook, and it is Jade Stone. I think it's the real Jade Stone. Instagram is Love Sessions with Jade. Um, yeah, website is jadestonenovelties.com. And you can always reach me by DM, email, whatever you need. I'm here. I got you.
Excellent, excellent. And you host events as well, right? Like you have an upcoming event that you're going to be doing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, actually, was it last year or the year before last? I we were supposed to be doing a whole weekend retreat for the ladies, just like an empowerment retreat, a reset, and things didn't go right. But I'm like, we didn't want to just lose our deposits and stuff, and I still wanted to do something. So I ended up doing at Vixen Pole Fitness. We did just a event for the night, and we did a workshop and a tantric heart meditation, and it ended up being so powerful. I didn't even expect what happened. I mean, there were emotions. There were a lot of women that just spoke things from their heart that they hadn't spoken out loud before, or to other peers. And it ended up just being a healing session. And everybody was like, okay, Jen, this is your lane. You need to do this. It seems like this is your calling. And I had a hard time with that because I'm like, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. But it did take some time, but that's what we're doing again this Saturday at Spinderella Fitness. We It's for the ladies. We're doing tantric heart meditations and just really just getting into that vixen side and just a night of releasing negative energy and tapping into that goddess energy. And then we have a wonderful, wonderful burlesque dancer and performer. She's going to come in and do a burlesque routine, and then she's going to teach us a sensual pole dance too. So I'm excited. I'm excited. We do have a few slots open, so we can post the link for that too. I can put it in the chat or in the how's it work on here on the page or on the chat?
Yeah, you can put it in the chat. You should have an option on the side there. So yeah, definitely drop your link in the comments. But yes, I plan to be in the building, so I am super excited as well. And you said there's going to be some releasing happening and some getting
Yeah.
into our sensuality happening. So yeah, I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. I really, for me, the business is not just, and I think that was part of it for me, understanding my why and what I'm doing and the reason I'm doing it. It's not just about the sex toys, although we love them. It's not just about the act of sex itself. Like I am huge on intimacy and on sensuality and just really showing up for ourselves so that we can show up for partners. And that's the part of it I like. I'm a very sensual person. I'm very affectionate and loving. And I love that being able to help couples or individuals just get back to that love and that intimacy.
That's nice. Got me feeling all fuzzy over here. But when when you talk about getting in tune with yourself, like because the topic is let's talk about sex, right? And so when you talk about getting in tune with yourself as a single woman or person, how do you get in tune with your sexuality as a
Ooh,
single person?
ooh. I think the first part really is understanding who you are. Um, a lot of us, especially mothers, we're out in the workforce, those that are wives, partners. I really think we forget who we are, um, and we lose ourselves in all of the other responsibilities that we have. And so I think that's the first part, just bringing it back to who am I? What do I want? What is my passion? What are my goals? Um, and then once you get into that, I mean, getting into self-care, spending more time with yourself, loving yourself. I started doing a sensual touch workshop,
Okay.
which, oh my God, I love it and didn't even know how much I would love doing this workshop. So I do plan on because so far I've done it for a retreat, but I want to do my own workshop and have people come in and just really, because what it is, I approach it not just from the masturbation standpoint, but just that sensual touch, reconnecting with your body, learning your what you like, what types of touch you like, the um how your body responds, because again, if you don't know what you like, if
Yeah.
you don't know what you want, how
Mhm.
can you express that to anybody else?
Right. Okay. Now you mentioned the masturbation piece of it. Now, in the religious households, you would be taught that that's wrong. You're not supposed to do that. That opens up different gates and portals and things like that. What do you have to say about that when it comes to tapping into your sensuality?
It's not nasty, it's not wrong.
Mm.
Pleasure is your birthright.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. We all should experience pleasure. We should. And it's very important because it also goes into the spiritual. And that's why I'm enjoying learning about Tantra, because it's more of um, the spiritual connection, that deeper connection, the intimacy. It's not about the goal is not orgasm, right? It's more so of the deeper connection. And you can do tantric meditations with yourself. They can be self meditations. You can do it. It's not just about a romantic partner. You can do it with your sister, your best friend, and you all can, because again, it's connecting on a spiritual level and on a deeper level.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you host and you do consultations and different sessions and things like that to help people learn how
Yeah.
to tap in, right?
Yeah, yeah. So my very first one, and I had this couple. They came over. I had, the whole setup, strawberries, wine, some music, and everything. And again, it was one of those things that just kind of opened my mind and said, okay, this is this is it for me. This is what I love to do. We went through a whole session of just de-armoring first and just kind of releasing whatever happened in the past, whatever went on today, just let all of that go. And then I had them connect and just hold each other and speak words of affirmation to each other and love and um, what they like about each other and all of that. We got through all of that. And at the end of it, they ended up being able to have a conversation with each other that they wouldn't have been able to have on their own, because
Mhm.
at that point, they were on a different level. They were connected, they were present with each other, and they didn't have all of those distractions. So that was one thing she said to me. She said, I really, really appreciated it because some of the stuff I said tonight, I wasn't able to say before. So that actually brought them closer, and I was happy,
Yeah.
that I was able to do that. So yeah, that's what I'm getting more into now. The website has been revamped because before it was just the toys for the
Okay.
most part on the website. So yeah, so now the website is revamped because that's my passion. Like I said, I want to help couples. I want to, because, and the thing is, what made me want to do that even in the beginning was the fact that, hearing people say, once you get married or once you're a few years or so into the relationship, then all of that dies. And I wanted to understand why that happens
Mhm.
and how I can help. Because I mean, hey, if somebody got to do it, why not me?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Did
yeah,
you
so
get,
that's,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
I'm
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead, what you're saying.
No, I was just saying, so that's what made me really want to get into the business. And that's it. That's it. I love
Okay.
what I do.
Excellent. And did you get to did you figure out why that is, on why couples start off hot and heavy and then later on just kind of deter off? And let's say this is couples that have already had their kids, like, in our age bracket, we're, in our maybe late 30s, early 40s, and we're coming into relationships. We didn't already raise the kids. We may have already been through a marriage and so forth. And now we are entertaining relationships from a different space and time and mentality. And
Yeah.
so, coming from that space, so we don't have to worry about the kids as an excuse on why we're not connecting and so forth. What are some other reasons on why couples may not connect the same down the line like they did in the beginning?
So I think it can be a number of reasons. First of all, medical issues come up. We get older, things happen. Medical issues can prevent us, and then, prevent people from the act itself, really, and just, insecurities, but also even trying to transition from that. Let's just say the kids are older now. Like you said, we can't use the kids as an
Hmm.
excuse anymore, but you have busy schedules. And then how do you figure out how to transition from before the kids were an issue, or it, not learning how to make time for each other. So I think that, and a lot of it is communication. That is the major, major factor. We are not communicating with each other. We are not communicating with our partners and letting them know how we're feeling. And that may be because we don't feel like we have the voice to do that,
Mhm.
when we don't feel comfortable, or just don't know how to express it. So communication is key to wanting better sex, wanting more intimacy, all of that.
Okay. So communication. Okay. And I was going to ask you earlier when we were here, there's a large population or percentage of women who have sexual trauma from when they were younger.
Yeah.
How do your, specifically, I guess, your Tantra meditation or practices help women to overcome in that area? Or what do you offer that can help women to overcome in that area?
Whew. Um, so I'll say this. So there's a difference between what I do, which is the sex coaching, and then the therapy.
Okay.
So if it gets to a point to where, okay, this might be a little bit more, they may need more than what I can offer, then I'll refer out to
Gotcha.
an actual therapist, whether it's a sexual therapist or just a regular therapist. But with the tantra and the meditations and everything, again, it's really about being present, right? So we sit in those emotions for just a second so that you can release them. And again, it's de-armoring. You can bring it to the surface so that you can release all of that. So there are breathing techniques that we can use, even dance. Like I've seen people just dance it out, cry it out. A lot of that trauma that we hold on to is stored in our bodies, and
Mhm.
especially in our hips. So yeah, there are different routines, like I said, with the breathing techniques, and everything that we can use to help with that.
Okay. All right. What are I was going to ask you about? Okay, so dating, right? Let's talk a little bit more. Again, as a single person, I'm out
Uh-huh.
here single and dating, and looking to meet my future husband and so forth. What advice do you give to the ladies specifically about dating and sex?
Ah, that's a good one. Know yourself. I'm gonna keep going back to that. Know
Okay.
yourself, know your boundaries, stand on your boundaries. Um, we have this thing, and I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. I'm kind of up and down with the whole, uh, sex on the first date and everything, because on one hand, okay, we're talking about two adults,
Consenting
um,
adults, yeah.
eh, consenting adults, right?
Mhm.
And if that's what you choose to do, that's what you choose to do. However, I do feel a lot of times when we are, because again, I mean, I'm not single now, but I have been,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of times we lead with that because we think that's what's going to draw them in, right? So we lead with the sex, we lead with our bodies, but then wonder why we keep getting the same types of people. You
Mhm.
have to, again, stand on your boundaries, your values, whatever they are. Love yourself, know who you are, and just know what type of person you're looking for too, and don't settle for less than, of course, what you deserve, but also what you're looking for.
Okay. So you would advise against maybe sex on the first night type of thing, like to give it a little bit of time, or like what do you advise in that sense? I'm looking to keep this man. Is me giving up my cookies gonna help keep him or not?
It's not. No, no, it's not. It's not going to help keep him. Men, I really believe men know, but still, even in that, get to know the person first, because we know that can, first of all, creating another um, spiritual connection, with somebody who you really don't know yet if they're worthy of being in your space. So take the time and get to know them and be sure of who this person is. Now, again, I say if the chemistry is just there that night and you feel, hey, I mean,
Okay.
you.
You
But
grown, do your thing.
right. My real advice is to really get to know who you're dealing with and make sure that they are worthy of your time, your space, and your energy.
Okay. See, me
Yeah, I think.
personally, I've had to take the celibacy route journey. This is actually a place where I've never thought I'd see myself in because I was with my
Okay.
ex-husband for 25 years, so from the time that we were 15 all the way until I was 40. So that was like consistent sex,
Ooh.
what I'm saying, on a regular basis, right? And
uh,
so for me, it was like, okay, well, I love sex. I could never see myself going celibate. I don't know how people who go years without it can even do it. Like that was my mentality at one point, right?
yeah.
But then as I'm out here and I'm dating, and you run into, well, for one, as I elevate higher, I'm understanding the consequences behind letting different energies into your
Right.
your barrier, right?
Right.
So that's
Right.
been one thing that has made me understand, like, okay, you can't just give yourself to anybody because energies are transferable, right? Am I
Yeah.
right about that?
Yep.
And so, if you're sleeping with someone who's depressed, for example, and you are allowing them to insert inside of your body, and now you're wondering why you're depressed, someone
Hmm.
who's sad and miserable all the time, and now you're wondering why you're down. I got to a
Yeah.
point where I was, so elevated on my journey that I had doubled back and slept with the ex-husband one good time, saying this would have been maybe about a year or so ago. And
Okay.
um the energy exchange was so strong that I could feel all his pain. Like I ended up like needing to
Cool.
cry afterwards. Like it was
Uh,
that for me was like a real moment. Okay, like sex is really, really spiritual. We shouldn't just be out
yeah.
here giving ourselves to people all willy nilly. And in this
Yeah.
day and age, we have no regard for sex and how sacred it is. We just give ourselves away. But for me, that was like a real moment of wow. I needed to cry to get this person out of me after that energy exchange.
Yeah.
So
Now,
yeah, it's
so
crazy.
I had a situation one time where um, and this was some years ago. Ooh, putting it out there. Okay, yep, we gonna do that. Um, I had a lot of emotions going on. I was coming out of a relationship that I really wanted, and I ended up in this space where I just didn't care. I was just gonna get mine because I felt like I needed that to feel good, right? I wasn't dealing with myself. I wasn't dealing with my hurt or trying to heal from that. Well, I was using sex to heal
Okay.
from what I was dealing with. And I got with this person and it was great, but I ended up the same thing. I ended up crying. And later on we had a conversation. That person was dealing with stuff too.
Hmm.
So it's like that whole it was crazy because it's just I mean a real ugly cry
Yeah.
happened like immediately after. And so yeah, it's really take your time. take but I have a question for you.
Hmm.
So how was that from 15 until you said 40?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel as far as, like your experience with sex and because you were with him for so long and with a lot of your um you did a lot of growing in that time. So how do you think it's going to be for you getting out and dating, and especially with the sex aspect, having dealt with this one person for all of these years?
Well, for me, like I said, I'm gonna have to take the celibacy route because sex does cloud my judgment. I
Okay.
make I make bad decisions, or I ignore the
Listen,
red flags, and I'm sure it's not just me. A lot of us bypass red flags because the
yeah,
pipe was
been
good.
there.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that it was a lot of that had me stuck in that relationship for 25 years because yeah, the sex was good on top of having this void, of the lack of a male in my life. So when a man did come into my life, and now we have this soul tie, right from the sex, it was like, okay, I'm never letting go. And so being clear on that, it's like, okay, I have to take my time. If a man is not willing to accept me when I say, hey, sex clouds my judgment, I need to wait until we're in a committed. I'm not even saying I need to wait till marriage, but I need to know when you tell me, hey, you the one for me, I plan to
Yeah,
make you my wife one day. Then at that point, we can explore that. But my dating is different now that, like you say, I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know I love myself. I don't need validation. That perceived void
yeah,
that I had that would have had me um, being maybe too promiscuous. I've been able to heal and resolve that because, like I say, I saw a figure where 60% of women are violated, and that was my situation. Before the age of 18, 60% of Black girls are violated sexually in their home, usually by a family member.
yeah,
Just imagine what that does to a girl's psyche. You know what I'm saying? Either she's going to go the route of being too promiscuous or just shy away from sex completely. There's
yeah.
usually no happy medium whenever you're in those type of situations.
Right. And that actually, it was very hurtful because at the last event that I was telling you about, there were several women in that place that night that had that opened up and said that they had been um, assaulted and violated in some way, and it was just is I'm telling when I say we were all in there just crying, and it was eye opening, because we know it's real, but when you hear it from people and it's right in your face, it just it hits different.
That makes me wonder, and I know you say this is usually with the ladies that you get these type of level of vulnerability with. But men in our community specifically has also experienced a lot of sexual trauma and is not discussed nearly anywhere on the scale that it is
Yep.
about women.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, how do we? Because, and I know it's because men are taught from an early age that you're a man, you don't cry, they're not taught how to express their emotions. So my thing is, how do we do that? Like, how do we even, let's just say if we were to hold something, are the men going to show up? Are they going to be vulnerable and be able to tell their stories to hopefully help somebody else, but not only that, to heal from it? Because I think that's a lot of the reason why dating is the way it is, because we are not healing from our past traumas, and we're just carrying it on and on and on into every relationship that we come in contact with. And I think that's what's hurting a lot of people.
I agree 100%. A lot of people don't even realize that they are hurt and need healing. Like it's that cut that you don't even realize you got until you look down at it type of energy. And unfortunately, I hate to say, but I do see it more in men than I do in the women because to me, it seems like because we are nurturers, women are more inclined to go through the healing process. We're
Yeah,
more inclined to say, I want to be better for my children, my family, I want to be here longer for my family. So we'll go through the healing. Whereas I don't see that same type of thing with the men. But I wanted to tell you that, like, for example, right, there was this one guy that I was dating, and he had shared with me a trauma where he was a virgin all throughout high school. And then when he got to college, he was basically turned into a gigolo, right? Like he was recruited by multiple women to smash, to please them sexually. And so
Mm,
he was being passed around by like 8 different women, so he's trying to please all these different women. And for
wow.
him, as he's telling me the story, in his mind, he enjoyed it at that time. It broke my heart to hear that story. Like, I ought to be ready to kill a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Let me hear that happen to my children. I'm ready to kill it. But for
Yeah,
him, he
yeah,
was like, well, I was an adult. You're 18, fresh out of high school. And he was like, so I consented to it. But to me, again, I hear trauma. So
yeah.
there's that type of breakdown. How is that? And he would tell me stories about how his ex-wife would say he was too rough, or how other women in his past would say, you just treat me like I'm a piece of meat, and so forth. And so I'm asking, like, okay, well, are you making the correlation? Can you see how your experience, which you say yes, you consented, but that was technically trauma that happened to you. That was, I explained it to my kids like this: when you spill water over into your computer, it
Mm,
may still work, but that's still damage nonetheless, right?
yeah.
So it's that
And
same
that
concept.
damage can be real deep, and
Exactly.
it will show up over time.
Exactly. So yeah, it seems to be working fine, but trauma was
Right.
done to that. So there are some kinks and wires in there that need to be rewired. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So a lot of men have gone through experiences in their childhood that are related to sex, and they don't see it as being trauma, because maybe they were the man. I'm the man now. He got clout or whatever it may be
exactly.
behind that. But there's some rewiring that needs to happen after you've had these experiences, men.
Absolutely. Yep. So we gotta figure that out. How do we reach the brothers so that
Yes,
we all do this together?
I agree. And Wanda suggested that need to find a man who is open to telling his story, maybe an all male panel. And I think that's a great idea.
That is a great idea. I like that.
Yeah.
I
And
like.
and I'm just gonna always recruit, for again healing. I
Yep.
feel like I'm at a healed place now, because there was a time, no, my husband better not share nothing. My ex-husband better not share nothing with me, because I was so hurt and broken. I would use anything he give me as a weapon to hurt him, what I'm saying, back. And so
Okay.
you don't want to mess with women who are operating from a broken place, fellas. That's not the girl who you want to deal with. You want to find you a woman who has dealt with her trauma, who is whole,
Yep.
not as your therapist. I do not want to be no man's therapist, okay? I want you to be aware enough to know that there's some work you need to be doing, and I'm here to support you, but I am not your therapist, right? Seek therapy.
Your helpmate, not your therapist.
Exactly.
That I will support you through the process, but yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I've heard quite a few stories as I, go out into the world. I hear quite a few stories from men who have experienced some level of sexual trauma as a child. And I just wonder, like, okay, well, I know for me, I was able to talk to somebody. I was able to seek help from somebody. Like, what as a man are you doing to deal with that trauma?
Yeah.
Do you have any advice or recommendations or
Ooh.
suggestions? Like, how do you think that even shows up in a relationship?
A lot of time, well, like you said, um, the rough, they don't know how to be gentle. They don't know. It's just about getting it and getting theirs. Um, Other ways I think it can show up in a relationship, uh, sometimes shutting down and not even wanting the intimacy or the sex at all, or only wanting it when you want it. Everything is it's about you. But I mean, it's a lot of different ways that it can show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I just really, my platform on Facebook, I have a very large male following on Facebook, Facebook and Instagram. Actually, it's like an 80-20 split,
Okay.
male to female. And so I do desire to have a space where men can feel safe and
Yep.
protected. Like, I've even had to delete a few women off my page because you come at these fellas recklessly and disrespectful, and that's not what we need in this time. Like, we are such in a place where we need to heal now more than ever, because we need our men.
Yep. And
We need
I
a
think that's it. That's it right there too. They don't feel safe because there are so many women who still bash men, who still hold other men accountable for their past. And men are not, I really don't think that they get the recognition and the love and the support that they need to feel safe enough to be vulnerable like that. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot. And you have to really feel safe with who whoever it is, you know, to be able to open up like that and to share those experiences.
Yeah, I had shared a reel on my Facebook yesterday where a man, I guess apparently had went viral because he was expressing what so many men are dealing with and feeling. You know, he says we're tired of being talked down to, tired of being emasculated, underappreciated. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I didn't interview, I have the Journey to Love dating game show, next one coming up on April 27th. Make sure y'all tapping in. But I have interviewed quite a few women where I'd be like, oh yeah, you let emasculate your man. I don't even want to go with you. You know what I'm saying? Like they just give off the energy to let me know, yeah, you'll cuss a man out real quick. And again, I
Yeah.
was that girl. I was her. And I have
Okay.
so much shame behind that. But I've of course have had to move on and also have looked at it as, yeah, I was that girl who I was very disrespectful to my ex-husband, like just no filter, no
Okay.
respect, mad disrespectful. So definitely I don't recommend a man staying in a relationship. He should have left me 10, 20, 12 times over. He should have left me. And so coming out of that situation, I felt guilt that I tore him down in such a way. But at the same time, I had to look at it like, okay, well, why didn't your mama teach you how to love yourself better so that
Mm,
you can know when it's time to walk away? And a lot of our men have mommy issues. Mommy didn't tell them they loved them enough, or mommy was, out in the club twerking and wasn't coming home fixing dinner. So a lot of our men are dealing with those mommy issues that they have not addressed yet.
yeah. Yep.
And again,
Yeah.
won't look down to see, oh, damn, I'm bleeding from when mama told me that, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was that hurt you. And so now you look at women differently.
Yep. Yeah. It's crazy too. You can tell a man who deep down does not have, even if they try to show it on the surface, and they deep down truly don't respect women
Mhm.
because they were never taught that, or because, like you said, their circumstances, their trauma, they don't they don't know any better, or they've had these experiences with women, and it's like, I'll date one, I'll have sex with one, might even marry one, but deep down, they don't have that respect for women. And that's something else that needs to be dealt with. Like, I mean, on the inside, you truly hate women, and it comes out in how you speak to them, how you deal with women. All of it comes out, but again, you're hiding it behind everything else.
That toxic masculinity, I think, is the phrase.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah, that we're becoming familiar with. Yeah, that
Yeah.
inability to show up and love your woman.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. But yeah, there is a lot of that happening though out here. I do agree with you there. Let me see where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get to it and figure it out though. I mean, I know we can't save everybody, and that's how women are. We natural nurturers, and we want to save everybody, we want to help everybody, but I do feel like your platform and what you're doing is amazing,
Thank
and
you.
is going to be huge. I believe that 100%.
Thank
I
you.
believe.
I appreciate that. Yeah, because I definitely, because again, like I said, I've gone through the journey of being in a 25-year relationship. It was toxic the whole way, because again, the whole thing is to heal as individuals so that we can add to the collective. And I actually have this one piece where I talk about how life is a game. This is technically a game that we are playing, right? Like we are in a time where it's time to elevate in consciousness and
Mm,
realize that, this is bigger than just what you see. It's bigger than just your reality, I guess, in a sense, right? So this life that we're in, it technically is a game. You are the AI, you are the character in this game. So life
Yeah.
is a game, and the joystick is your tongue and your brain, what you speak over yourself, what you put out into the universe is what's going to manifest. It goes on to
Okay.
say, let me see, life is a game, joystick is your tongue and your brain. The objective of this game of life is to set yourself free, right? And so, in order for us to be able to have something to play, there has to be something for you to beat,
Ooh.
aka your trauma, right? Each of us was assigned a trauma. If you're into astrology, just a little bit, there's this planet called Chiron, or it's an asteroid. And if you are alive and have breath in your body, it's going to be found on your birth chart. This is proof that everybody is assigned some type of trauma at birth. So your objective is to beat or overcome this programming, your i.e. your trauma. But we are in a space where we hold on to the emotion of what happened to us. That
Yeah.
dog that chased you when you were 7 years old. And so you now at 35, you still have a fear of dogs.
Yeah.
That, you know. So it's time that we get to a place where we're understanding, uh, become aware and understanding soul consciousness. So men, again, men, because that's who I see to me having the struggle with evolving and adapting to where we are. To me, it just seems like so many men want to hold on to traditional values. Now, I'm a nurturer. Okay. I love to cook for my children. I love to cook for myself, right? Like I am a
Yeah.
nurturer, but I mean, like when men say they want to hold on to women just aren't traditional anymore, I'm like, okay, but I'm not a traditional woman. So I struggle to understand myself. And again, I just think that men want to see what grandma used to do. But grandma,
Exactly.
probably wasn't happy or wanted, things to be done how mom had to do it. But mom probably wasn't happy in her situation. And men are
Yeah.
arguing, but your relationship isn't about happiness. What do you say about that part right there? Marriage and the family unit is not about being happy. It's about the family.
Ugh.
I know
So
we've
I
kind of
don't.
steered off the topic, so forgive me for that.
No, that's um. My thing is, I feel like there needs to still because so I struggled with the whole marriage is a business thing. Like when I was younger, I didn't understand that, and I didn't. I said no, because my whole thing was no, it's not. And I get it from a different aspect now, but I still feel like your children need to see you happy because it goes back to um, toxic relationships. If you're not happy, and of course, it starts with being happy with yourself and who you
Right,
are as a person outside of the relationship, and
right.
then that'll help you, bring more into the relationship. But I feel like marriage is more than that. Yeah, it's more than the love, yes, but it's what are we bringing together? How are we on the same page? Um, and we both have to be in a place of happiness, and I think it should be a part of it.
It should be a dynamic, right? It should be a factor. Your happiness, your peace of mind, joy is a factor in your relationship.
Yeah.
Because again, I see so many men saying, talk about that is there's no value in getting married because women they leave and they take everything, they don't hold up their end of the bargain, different narratives like that, and completely negating their responsibility. To me, this is what it seems like. You're negating your role or your responsibility, not to ensure this woman's happiness, but to not take away from it,
Right.
because
Right.
usually in a man and woman dynamic, and the woman is at home being the nurturer, taking care of the family and things like that, that leaves that man the way things have been in the past. The man may be the one to go out and do the drinking or do the gambling, or he's out here cheating, he's out here making side babies, um, and yet the woman is home wanting to nurture the family and just wanting to keep everything together,
Hmm.
but yet men are like, okay, but you're not holding up your end of the bargain, but you're abusing me, what I'm saying? You care nothing about my happiness and my peace of mind and my spiritual health or any of that,
Right. And again, it's they because of what we were taught, because of what we can only go by what we see. And it's just like with kids, right? You can tell them all day long, don't. But at the end of the day, if they see you continuing to do the things that you're telling them don't do, they're going to do what they see. So that's what we're doing. We're doing what we see. We're doing what we were taught. We do a lot like back in the day, I really feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or if you, I mean, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. But I feel like relationship stuff was more hidden with our parents and with marriages and stuff back in the day. We as the kids, we didn't know if they were having issues. It was not all of that arguing in front of the kids, calling each other names, belittling each other in front of the kid. They weren't doing that. We didn't know. So again, we, off of what we see, oh well, this is how dad is going out making the money, mom is at home doing this. But we didn't know that deep down, mom was unhappy when dad wasn't coming in on time, or even vice versa. Whatever. I mean, we didn't see that stuff, and now I think that's what it is. Because yeah, I've heard all of that too. Um, well, I'm out making the money, and women need to do this, cook more, and need to do. But women are working now too, and I feel like again is but these are things that are not discussed before we get into relationships. So then it's like this shock now that
Mhm.
we're living together or whatever the case is, are married, and now, oh wait, well you don't do this and you don't do. We didn't have this discussion before,
Right.
so we don't know what the expectations are. I don't know what I'm supposed to be bringing to this relationship because we didn't communicate that. So I'm gonna bring what I think I'm supposed to bring, so then somebody is unhappy because, well, this is not what I expected. This is not what it should be. This is not what I wanted. We didn't communicate that.
Well, since we're back here in the communication, tell me, what does this discussion look like where I'm now intimate? I've been dating my person for, let's say, 3 months, and we've made it official and we've been intimate now. What does
Okay.
a conversation about sex sound like when setting expectations or whatever? What should a conversation around sex sound like?
Well, if you all have been dating for 3 months, I feel like more than likely, some part of the conversation has already happened. But I think really speaking on experiences and not to the point of um comparing, but just speaking, okay, this is what I know I like. Um, now now are we speaking as far as um what we like sexually, or
Overall expectations, because a man might, decide that he likes enjoys threesomes at least once a year on his birthday, but he failed to tell me. Like what kind of conversations should we be having expectation wise around sex?
okay, phew, you gotta be open. Yeah, you just gotta be open and honest. That's the thing, just being honest and understanding that at the end of the day, if this is not what you want, if this is if the way this person um the way they want to move, if that's not within your values, if that's out, you have the option to say, hey, this is not going to work for me. It's not, or unless there is some compromise that you are willing, if they're worth that. But you just got to be open and honest and let people know what you want. Honesty is best. Yeah, that's it. I
Okay.
see somebody wrote in, yeah, said honesty is best. But yeah, it is. That's just a thing. I mean, and it doesn't have, actually it could be an intimate conversation, in an intimate setting. So that way it's not um, it's not a whole lot of pressure, but just it can be in an intimate setting and just, hey. let's discuss this.
So the pillow talk then, after it's been our first time intimate together, we should take that pillow talk moment and discuss if you give head or not, because I need to know.
All of that needs to happen before you even.
Before we even make it to the bedroom, we need to have discussed if you give oral sex or not.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's ways to do it. I mean, you can bring it up in sexting. It can be, I love erotic talk, right? Um and then that's another thing actually while we're on erotic talk. Um there's ways to tell your partner what you don't like.
Okay.
You don't want to make anyone feel bad or like they, just completely suck. But we're not faking. We're not doing that. No more faking. We need to cut that out because, again, you are responsible for your orgasm.
Okay. I am
And
responsible. I am responsible for my orgasm, not my partner, but me. I am responsible.
you are responsible for your orgasm. Think
What?
about it. You're
Okay.
faking it, right? You're faking it, and this person thinks, "Oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm doing my thing." So what do? Continue to do the same thing. But then you're upset because you're not getting yours. You're not getting what you need, but you're not communicating what you need and what you don't like with your partner. But again, you don't want to just be commando during sex. It's ways to do it, even if it's during. You can tap or just like, hey, or just redirect them to where you want them to be. You can slow it down, you can speed it up, or you can wait until after, like you said, with the pillow talk and just, I like it when you do more of this. I like it when you lick here instead of sucking. How about, it's ways to do it where you still make it sexy and you're guiding them basically and not just, oh, the way you gave me here last night sucked. Like, don't ever do that shit again. Like, no,
That ain't the way to go.
nah, nah,
Okay.
nah, not at all.
What about while they're in the midst of it? Like, is it good to maybe give them some tips and advice while he's right in the middle of giving you head? You talk to
You
him
can
then?
do that, but again, do it in a sexy way so you're not breaking the moment. You're not, interrupting the moment. Kind of stay in the moment with it and just, again, you can use your hands and just guide him where you want him to be. Or this goes back to the sensual touch. You can even say, let's have mutual masturbation and show him what you like because that's also sexy, that's still intimate, and you all are sharing that together.
Hmm.
Yes,
Nice.
ma'am. You are responsible for your own orgasm. You are responsible for your pleasure.
Yeah, I never would have looked at it that way either. But I guess once you expound to say, hey, if you didn't communicate your needs and your desires, and that's your fault because you're
Yeah,
responsible for how people treat you, I guess, in a sense.
yeah, exactly. And that's why, and that's the thing with watching porn and stuff too, right? And even for men, because I think for people who watch it a lot, you have this expectation, right? And even with using toys, it's the same thing. Once you're using this toy and not saying don't use them, you definitely incorporate toys if
Mhm.
that's your thing. But you do have to be careful with that because again, if your body and your mental is used to this one thing, you're going to expect that from your partner. And when they don't live up to that expectation, that false expectation that you have in your head, then you're left feeling like you didn't get what you needed. But again, it goes back to communication.
Wow.
Communication.
So Classic says, I think if men just listen to her body moments, motion, breathing, etc., you can figure her out.
Yeah, yeah. Now there are some things that there are still some things that need to be said, but absolutely pay attention to, hey, if she gets quiet, unless she's just a woman that's not vocal, which is not too many of us, that I know of. But yeah, pay attention to the way her body is speaking, the way her body is moving, and it's the same thing with men. You know if they're enjoying it and if they're not.
Right. Right. You
Oh,
definitely know.
I'm learning.
Yes, and she is here to help us learn, to teach us, and also make sure that you are following Miss Jennifer Willis, aka Jade Stone, on all of her platforms. Is that your handle on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat?
um,
What else are you on?
So I don't have Snapchat. I just felt like that was way too much. I got enough to handle. But yeah, the Instagram is Jade's Love Sessions or Love Sessions with Jade. Oh my goodness, I'll put it in the chat because I know I changed it. So it's either Love Sessions with Jade or Jade's Love Sessions. Either way, you'll find me. That's the Instagram. The Facebook is Jennifer Wills. Um, and then there's the Love Sessions with Jade page. I also started an erotic book club. We should be meeting up in April sometime, probably towards the end of April. And it's called New Nerds. But we actually just, well, some people just finished. We did two books because it's part of a series, and one was really short. So yeah, that's cool. If you all want to join, definitely tap into that as well.
New
What
nerds.
else?
I love that. New nerds. So you say we can find the book club where?
Actually, if you search Nude Nerds, you'll find it.
Okay.
Nude Nerds Erotic Book Club. But we can
Nice.
put that in the chat as well. What else? Hmm. What else? I think that's it.
All right.
But yeah, you
Um,
can
mhm.
consultations. Oh, I do pleasure parties as well. So if you're looking for someone to do your bachelorette party or you just want a girls' night out, I'll bring the toys, some games, prizes, and stuff like that, and we can party. I also do oral workshops. So we're teaching, you know, or giving some tips on how to give good head
Okay.
and
Mhm.
and we're also wanting to put together one for the men because you don't see that a lot.
You
You
don't.
don't.
And Lord, they
So
need it. Somebody
um,
come through.
yeah, yeah. So I am working on that too. And like I said, we're gonna do a sensual touch workshop coming up soon. So yeah, a lot of stuff coming up. I am excited. 2024 is that year. We doing
Yes.
it.
You are already off to a great start, girl. Like I am so proud of you. And it's just so fun and amazing to watch you as you grow and elevate in your area. So keep
I
doing you.
really appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So we are right at an hour. Do you have any last minute words of advice, tips, tricks, information, conundrums that you can give to the people when we talking about sex, baby?
We're talking about sex. Listen,
Yes.
don't be ashamed of what you like. Don't be scared to say what you want in the bedroom. Get yours. You are responsible for it. Get yours.
Get
That's
it.
it. Plain and simple.
Because you are responsible for your orgasm. That was a shock news for me today. Learn something new every day. So yeah, I hope you all took note on that one. And again, make sure that you are following Miss Jade Stone and her website. You can book consultations. Again, like she said, she does the parties. Anything that you need surrounding sex, even when it comes to healing, tantra, and things like that. She is your girl, and she's a beautiful soul and spirit. So definitely you will be in good hands. All right, but we are going to go ahead and wrap it up. Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for
Thank,
taking the time
thank you
and
for
coming
having me.
out here. Absolutely. You're also always a gem, always a pleasure. So, um, guys, make sure you're tapping in for Journey to Love dating game. Next one being April 27th. Registration is open for both men and women. This will be the last game here in Orlando. It's time to start moving around. So go ahead and make sure that you're tapping in with me, okay? But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. In the meantime, I want you to remember that life is a journey, not a race. Do it with love. It has a sweeter taste. Oh, and come catch me tonight at Thursday Live Vibe, Taisha Williams joint. Gonna go do me a
Ooh,
piece real quick. That's why I'm looking all cute and sensual and stuff.
okay,
So y'all
okay.
come holler at your girl at Thursday Live Vibe. I hope to see y'all there. Again, life is a journey, not a race. Do it with love. It has a sweeter taste. I'll let y'all.